I always said that I'd document this moment if it was to happen. I am about to see my favorite movie of all time, Halloween, on the big screen. I'm very excited. I'm going to go in there and get my ticket. I will see you afterwards and kind of share my thoughts about like how much it means to me to be able to watch this movie on the big screen. I've waited for years to do this, and it's the 45th anniversary, and now's as good of a time as any to go finally watch this movie in theaters and check it off my bucket list. So I'm about to go watch my favorite movie on the big screen. Obviously, it is nighttime. I'm back home. It's been several hours since I got back from watching Halloween on the big screen, and I really just wanted to take some time to reflect and kind of collect my thoughts on the way that I feel about being able to have seen, a movie that's been on my bucket list for a long time to see on the big screen, and my favorite movie of all time. It's the movie that really has gotten me into loving horror. It's the movie that got me into, love filmmaking. And there's a couple thoughts that kind of went through my head as I was sitting there watching it. Because I've seen this movie several times. I mean, I'm probably in like the 30s, 40s in terms of how many times I've watched it. But there's just something so special about it. And I don't know if I've shared this with you guys. So growing up, I was introduced to horror movies at a very young age. My parents, though, were never really into slasher films. I ended up watching a lot of slasher movies with a friend of mine in elementary school named Roy. And Roy and I, we'd go to our Video King and we'd rent a bunch of Friday the 13th movies and Nightmare on Elm Street movies and Child's Play movies. And so I watched a lot of those kinds of slashers with Roy. When it came to Halloween, I had to seek that out for myself. I had never heard of the film, and then I think I was about 9 years old, and the movie was playing on AMC, Fear Fest. And I remember loving it. Like, I just remember there was something so uneasy about watching it to me that really gave me terror, and it really frightened me, and it allowed me to really understand the patience in filmmaking. Because a lot of the time we want those gratifying scenes where, there's this action piece and then, everything's crazy and it's just one thing after the next, after the next, after the next. And with Halloween, it really tests your patience. It says, hey, we have a story to tell you about this man who goes on a killing spree murdering babysitters. And the reason why he does it is because he's simply and purely evil. And it's a very patient movie, and it's a movie that takes its time to get where it needs to go, and that's what I love about the film. I love all those moments where you get to learn about the characters. You get to really feel for Laurie Strode. You get to, love her as a character. You get to love kind of that sense of community that she has with her friends and her family. You end up loving Dr. Loomis, and the fact that, he's kind of the Van Helsing to Michael's Dracula is pretty amazing. He understands him. And the way that he goes about talking in metaphors about Michael and the evil that is inside of Michael and that he simply and purely is evil is just amazing. I love the line where he says, he had the blackest eyes, the devil's eyes, because it just shows that there's nothing left. He's a pale, blank expression. There's nothing there. And that is what I love about Michael Myers so much is, not the fact that it's his sister and he's going after her as Halloween 2 would like you to understand. But it's a movie that just shows that anything can happen in the most random town on the most random day, which is Halloween, and evil will never die. And I know that that's said in Halloween Kills, where it says evil dies tonight. I get it. But it is true. Evil will never die. And that's the most important thing about the ending of the film. I've talked about this film a lot on my channel. I don't really need to go into specifics on why I love it. But I just think that Halloween is one of those things that's really precious to me because I had to seek it out for myself. It's a movie that, I understand. I watch it at least twice a year, every October. I watch it on October 1st and October 31st. And I'm probably going to watch it 3 times because I'll probably still watch it on Halloween because it means so much to me. It's such a special movie for me. I never get bored by it. It's one of those films that, like, to me, just you could stick in a time capsule. If there's one time capsule movie that I'd keep around forever, so that way 400 years from now, somebody can watch a movie that, movies are long gone or something, and there's an apocalypse, but there's one Blu-ray player or there's one like laptop and it only has charge to watch one movie. That one movie would be Halloween 1978 for me. So that way people can understand, how amazing this movie is. 45 years later, and this movie is still hailed as one of the greatest horror films of all time. It has not lost a step, and it has spawned one of the most successful franchises in movie history. I'm sorry, by the way, for the shaky cam footage. Not what I wanted. I cannot find my tripod for the life of me. I think it's upstairs, or my wife put it away. I don't know where it is. So you're just gonna have to deal with this. And I'm just using myself to film, and so it's probably all over the place, but that's okay. I'm not here to make a video that's like the most beautiful video. I just really want to share my thoughts on this movie. And really, I think what it comes down to is, me as a filmmaker, I hope that I can make a movie that, spans 45 years, 50 years into relevancy. Like somebody watches one of my films that I make 50 years later, somebody who loves it, just like I love Halloween, and, they really get something out of it by being able to finally watch their favorite movie on the big screen. Like, to me, that's just so awesome, and it's just the lasting power of film. I mean, film is forever, and I think classic film, classic cinema is truly never going to die. It is something that is just so aesthetically pleasing. It's something that, has really fundamentally shifted techniques in Hollywood. And the reason why people make the movies that they do, it's because of filmmakers like John Carpenter and Wes Craven and, all of those that came before, Friedkin of The Exorcist. I mean, there's so many different directors and filmmakers that have made horror films that have been staples for other filmmakers that maybe aren't even making horror films, but they can find something out of it that they really enjoy. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Thank you for putting up with me talking all about Halloween. It's my favorite movie of all time. Empire Strikes Back is also my favorite movie of all time. They're tied, but to me, I think Halloween probably edges it out. And I've waited so long to watch this movie in theaters. I was going to go last year and watch it in theaters, but I had my baby, Cora, and I just couldn't. It just wasn't the right time. And finally, I was able to sit down in a theater and watch on the big screen my favorite movie. It's something that I'll never forget, and it's going to stay with me. And I really want to watch it again on the big screen. So I hope next year and the years after that, I can find screenings and continue to go and watch Halloween on the big screen. And I encourage you guys as well. If you have a favorite movie of yours that you really want to see on the big screen, go out and seek it. Go out and try to find it, and, maybe you'll get lucky and they'll screen, your favorite movie for you. So thank you guys for watching. And again, I'm sorry for the shaky camera. I don't know, my arm's kind of tired, so thank you guys.